Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. Frustrating day, lots of football, but Scottish Cup, for example, and Austrian Cup, lots of favourites scoring first. But let's talk about that odds equal goals angle again. Gives you something else to trade in these matches, the goals markets. Let's go again. 1.25, well, Kupfenberg didn't score the 3 goals we expected. 1.01, 4-1 win. 1.02, scoring 4 goals, keeping a clean sheet. 1.3, scoring 3 goals and winning, but they did concede 2. 1.07, how many goals do you think they scored? If the 1.02 scored 4 goals, the 1.01 scored 4 goals, what do you think 1.07 scored? 4 goals. 1.09, anybody? Have a guess. If you're not watching the video, of course. 5 goals. 1.3, 5 goals. So we've still got that relationship between goals and the odds pre-match. That's an angle for you if you wanted it. Looks like when you go below 1.09, you might want to start considering at a bare minimum backing over 3.5 goals. And indeed, I would warrant with these shorties, you're going to be seeing goals before half time. So you might want to get first half goals 2.5 maybe. Well, we had 2 goals there for a 1.02 shot. So this is just providing you with angles in frustrating days like this. Looking down at Belgium, watching brief really, there's no way to get involved this early in the season. And it's important to think this was huge odds, wasn't it? Against a newly promoted side, La Louvière. The market getting these matches woefully wrong. Standard Liège 2.7, absolutely huge odds. But an opening gambit, opening day of the season. Czech 1 leg, Slavia Prague winning, scoring 2 goals for a 1.27 shot, but the clean sheet, that's what you expect of a 1.27 shot. Odds on favourites at home when Hradec Králové losing 1-2. Did they come from behind at any stage in this match? I do like 1.5 to 1.7 shots at home. Indeed, they did. Gunning scoring first for Corvina. Vikanova getting the equaliser. So there was a trade there if you were a strict follower of the odds. And at this stage of the season, you can see that the market makers are getting a lot of these matches incorrect, which makes my life difficult and your life difficult. We just have to bear it until we get the quality coming through, which will be very, very soon. We are on the cusp of August. Danish Super League, something for you to stick in your notebook there. Vejle getting done 2-0 by Copenhagen. Very easy match for Copenhagen. Newly promoted Vejle, a draw and a loss. So that tells us a pattern for Vejle this season. They're going to be competitive, I think, outside of the top 3 in the Danish Super League. They're going to be putting in some good stats. But when they meet the big boys, Midtjylland, Copenhagen, they're likely to be done. Danish First Division reverting to what we expect. Goals, goals, goals. 2 lots of over 2.5 goals. So again, some leagues are suited for goals, others are not. Mariehamn against Oulu. Arguably, we could have laid that draw second half, but when you're dealing with a side like Mariehamn, they are unreadable and therefore not very tradable. Bodo Glimt returned, and how? This is a side who tend to lead at half-time and tend to score first. Did they lead at half-time in this particular match? And again, look at the relationship between the short odds and the total goals numbers. Indeed, they did lead at half-time. But there's no real trade. They did score first. I suppose you could have laid that draw, given the first 2 goals came in 7 minutes. You've got 35 minutes. Well, not 35. I've got to do a bit of maths. 38 minutes to half-time. Ample time for a side who tend to lead at half-time to get the goal. So Bodo Glimt, again, look at the odds for Bodo Glimt and then look at the scoreline. Something for you to take out of yesterday if it was a tough trading day or tough day to trust teams. The short odds seem to be delivering. 1.27 shot at home, 7-2 scoreline, scoring before half-time, leading at half-time. Over 2.5 goals by half-time. Norwegian Obos-ligaen, Lillestrøm, far too good, remain unbeaten. Mjøndalen and Kongsvinger, 0-0 at half-time. I gave you the possibility of two possibilities. Well, I gave you a possibility of two possibilities. There you go. Could have laid the draw at the beginning of the second half. Kongsvinger scored first, draw odds rise. Mjøndalen's 83% over 2.5 goals, over 3.5 goals. Could have had you salivating at a lay of under 3.5 goals at 1.13. We got 2 goals, very sharpish, which was interesting. Very quick pair of goals, which started to move that 3.5 goal market, but we could have done with a winner, could have done with a 2-1 to help push it, particularly if Mjøndalen scored it. Good result for Mjøndalen. It stems the tide of what's been an awful, awful run so far. Elsewhere in the Obos-ligaen, nothing much else doing there. Ekstraklasse, still, wow, Lech Poznan get the win. Unbelievable, Jeff. I was looking at that match earlier on. 2-0 lead for Lechia Gdansk. Opening days of the season, very difficult for us to get any strong angles, but yet again, odds-on favourite at home, delivering. That's something for you to look at, generally speaking. 1.5 to 1.7 odds at home. They tend to be a trader's friend. That's what I've spotted. Look, well, trader's friend, yes. Did we get a trade in here? You can't legislate for red cards, of course, with Steaua Bucharest. Yeah, late red and a very, very late winner. So still the rule, I think, counts. 1.5 to 1.7 at home. All things being equal. All things being equal. So that wasn't equal, was it? Got a red card. So plenty to learn from yesterday, particularly the relationship between short odds and goals. It just continues on through league after league. And also short price favourites at home, 1.5 to 1.7 at home, do tend, all things being equal, to deliver. Well, I say that. Airdrie, 2-3, but we did get a trade in there as well. I think they came from behind against Alloa. And again, the relationship between short odds and goals is quite clear in the Scottish League Cup. 1.18, 5-goal win. 1.18 at home, 2-goal win. 1.09, scoring 4 goals. Over 3.5 goals in yet again for an under 1.09 shot. That could be an angle for you this season. It's probably going to be skinny, though. That's the problem. We've got another 1.09 here, scoring 6 goals. 1.17, scoring 4 goals. Hamilton and Dumbarton, depending on when Dumbarton scored, the 6.5 outsiders could have taken some insurance out there. 1.35 shot, 3-goal win to 0. Exactly what you expect. So they market 1.09 shot St Johnstone. Yes, helped by a red card, but 8-0. So say anything at 1.09 or lower. It seems to be a benchmark of at least 4 goals. In the Allsvenskan, Gaias keep delivering, don't they? No trade, though, but an excellent side to follow. We did get an equaliser for GIF Sundsvall against Örebro. This was all down to the in-play stats when you've got a 2.45, the favourite match. Default to the in-play stats. Sundsvall thoroughly deserved that equaliser. Swiss Super League, watching brief yesterday. Disappointing result for Basel. Young boys helped with that red card. St Gallen and Basel. I expect Basel in their second match to get a win, because they were title contenders last season. 75th minute, Goebbels winning. For St Gallen. No response from Basel, and an own goal for them as well. So maybe they're a little bit under par, or are they involved in European competition? So we're going to have a similar story today, therefore, with these new starts to the season and cup matches. Relationship between short odds and goals. So 1.22 Rapid Bucharest. What are you expecting here then? We're expecting a 0-3, 1-3, any other away score. We're expecting at least a goal before half time. Trade these angles if you want to. It's a uniform, tends to be a uniform trading pattern, doesn't it, throughout each league. Belgian Jubilee League today. The best way to attack this is to see if Soccer Stats has the Belgian Jubilee League form from last season, or at least the standings from last season. That will give us something to gauge for today's openers. And don't think I traded anything yesterday. So let's have a look. If you see 2024, 2025, then we can have a look. But no, not available. So let's do some Googling. We can't look as in depth as we'd like. I would like to look at the home form for the home side and the away form for the away side, but we can't. Anderlecht against Westerlo, 1.73 home favourites already. I'm looking at Club Brugge and Anderlecht as 1.73 home favourites. Not to lose. Doesn't mean they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to lose, or they have that tendency with all these 1.5 to 1.7 shots at home. Have a look at that pattern. Have a look at it today. Anderlecht and Westerlo. Anderlecht fourth last season against ninth placed Westerlo. I don't think we can split into home and away form at all. This is all last year, alas. So Anderlecht, top four side last year, Champions League bound or Europa League bound. So I wonder if they're playing any Europa League football. Leuven against Charleroi. Charleroi 10th last season. OH Leuven. I think that's them there. Oud heavily Leuven. So 10th against 11th from last season. 2.45 the favourite. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Club Brugge against Genk. Club Brugge, second last season. Top two clash from last season. Genk were the star performers last season. Only 4 defeats against only 5 defeats for Club Brugge. But a big gap in the points tally. 9-point difference between these top two sides last season. This is going to lay a marker. Interesting that second last season, our odds-on favourite today, Club Brugge. The market got that right. I wouldn't be as dismissive of title holders in their opening day as the market has been. St Truiden against Ghent. St Truiden look newly promoted, don't they? Unless that's St Truiden. I don't think it is. It is St Truiden. St Truiden VV. So they're not newly promoted. They have been flirting with relegation last season. Only the 7 wins. So you've got to be very careful with them today. Ghent, top 6 Ghent last season. So based on that form, based on this form, you're not with the market, are you? A relegation struggler last season is an odds-on, well, not odds-on, but favourite at home, and really dropped on Bet365 for some reason. Could be injury concerns for Ghent. But if you're top 6 away to a relegation threatened side, I'd expect you to be a little shorter than that. The Czech one leg today. We had the big guns out yesterday and they did tend to perform. We've got 3 odds-on favourites today, which immediately lights me up, particularly if Pardubice Teplice or Mlada Boleslav consent to score first. Far too early in the season to be getting too involved in form lines. As you can see, if we go to the Czech League in soccerstats.com, you'll see we've got very, very few matches to work off. So there's very little for us to take a bite out of from the form lines. But you'll see, as you get 8 or 9 matches under the season, you're going to start finding it very readable. But opening day for Slovan Liberec was a 3-3 against Mlada Boleslav. It was what I call a chuckle brother. To me, to you, to me, well, to me, to you, to you. A late Desmond, 89th minute goal. Goals before half-time, goals after half-time. We had a similar story with Pardubice and Poulsen. Very emphatic win for Poulsen. But we had goals before half-time, goals after half-time. Is that going to be a pattern that continues today? Doing form research after one match is ridiculous, isn't it? We can't get any lines in at all, really. Banach and Teplice. We can have a look at how they got on in the opening day of the season. Banach and Teplice. Slavia Prague getting a win yesterday. Expect Sparta Prague to do something as well. Both of these two, Banach and Teplice, yet to win this season. Both of them 1-0 down by half time. So yet to get a win, Banach and Teplice, and we've got an odds-on favourite in Banach. So start building yourself a kind of a story. This is a start to their season, Banach. So says the market after losing their opener. Sparta Prague against Mlada Boleslav. Expect Sparta Prague to be top 2 this season, along with their friends Slavia Prague. Both of these two sides suffering draws in their openers. Sparta Prague coming from behind to get an equaliser. Slovan Liberec had to come from behind on 3 occasions. Mlada Boleslav had to come from behind on 3 occasions. That makes this a fascinating match as well. Both teams in their opening match of the season coming from behind. Danish Super League. Silkeborg stand out for me at 1.7. It's a league starting to gain a little bit of traction, but we still are limited in our form lines because of the early season. You can have a look at one of these matches, for example, and it's just an opening match of the season. An absolute humdinger for Odense, a 3-3 against Midtjylland. They will be delighted with that. Midtjylland were leading at one stage. And Copenhagen, Champions League distracted. Viborg scoring 2 goals, but in defeat. Both teams drew at half-time in that particular match. But very little for us to get interested in. Nordland against Brøndby. I quite fancy Brøndby this season, although they did finish, I think, outside of the top 3 or 4. Starting off, both of these two sides scoring 3 goals, Nordland and Brøndby. I thought Brøndby's win against Silkeborg particularly caught the eye, given the fact that Brøndby didn't win against Silkeborg last season. So already that's an up. Middelfart are playing windy conditions in the Danish First Division. This Hobro Middelfart match sponsored by Heinz Baked Beans and boiled cabbage. So look forward to that. The Euro Women's, England women against Spanish women. This is the final. Now, you've seen in these semi-finals, the quarter-finals, there's absolutely no point in me researching this, is there? You've seen some of these ending tight or being absolute goal fests. This was a 1-1 at half-time in England's last match. We don't know how these are going to play. Look at how Spanish ladies played against the German ladies in the semi-final. That was a 0-0. So that is telling. Suddenly, you're going from 5, 6, 3, 2 goals scored to 0. And I think they went through at extra time. So watch out for the Spanish ladies. A sudden lurch towards ultra-defensive bent, hoping to go to extra time, backing themselves in the extra time and penalty markets. England ladies continued both teams to score pattern against Italy ladies, and they came from behind late on in that one. So it's going to be an excellent match to watch. But you can see already the 2.5 goal pattern abruptly ending for both England and Spanish ladies in their semi-finals. That could be the pattern to continue into the final. You might want to back 0-0 pre-match and hopefully get to 0-0 at half-time to have a cash out. But me researching this, just because it's a high-profile match, it doesn't mean it's researchable. It's a final. Championship final at Wembley. You don't have a clue, do you? Champions League final. Far too tough to call. Inter Turku against SJK. Inter Turku, my best friends. I'm still not bitter about that missed penalty a couple of weeks ago, costing me a pretty penny. They have a profile of being ultra reliable. at the moment at home into Turku. I think they remain unbeaten. So that's my angle coming into this particular match. Look absolutely rock solid. Viking are top of the league in the Elite Serie, and they're a 1.8 favourites away at Bryn. Rosenborg and Tromsø, little tricky, but let's have a look at the stats. 9 out of 10 wins against 8th and lower for Viking. That is really good embedded form, isn't it? How about this lot? Not even favourite. Don't let that put you off, Tromsø. Let's have a look at the beautiful site of www.www.com. Here we go. www. That was in a friendly. They lost. So it's all wins for Tromsø, and they're not even favourite today. Don't let that put you off. They've been 2.2 outsiders, 2.8 outsiders, and they've got the wins during these campaigns. You can go through some of their winning odds, and you'll see they've been outsiders. Absolutely no way I'm discounting Tromsø today. Winning machines. Absolute winning machines. So get stuck in. Take on the market if you want. I'll be following that one with interest at 1:30. Extra Klasa, Rakow. Possible title contenders. 1.48 at home. Jagiellonian Bialystok. An absolute embarrassment against the newly promoted Tamilika in their opener. This is a redemption match. Odds on at home. They should have got 3 points in their opener, but they cocked that one up. Polish First Division, too tough for me to call this early in the season. But again, we've got a nice raft of 3 out of 3 odds on favourites at home. 2 of them between my favourite odds of 1.5 to 1.7. Normally indicate an unbeaten home side. Cluj against Arges, 1.42 the favourite. Again, it's far too early in the season, stats-wise. And in the Scottish League Cup, St Mirren are odds on against Ayr. And generally speaking, yesterday, the odds on favourites did deliver. When they didn't deliver, you could have broken even at least with insurance. And the football continues. Blimey. The Allsvenskan, AIK against Oster. Djurgården, where's that second goal? Mjällby, title contenders, 1.62. And Hammarby against the Värnamo side, who are struggling to get just a win. I think, have they got a win recently? Or are they on a touch of draw-itis at home? Let's have a look at Värnamo. They have been on the improve. See that win against Djurgården. That's very, very rare. But note this improvement in form. Take that friendly out. And it's 2 draws, 3 consecutive draws and a win, 2 consecutive clean sheets. Starting to understand Värnamo that if you can keep clean sheets, you're possibly in with a shout today. Superliga didn't like it yesterday. Don't like it today, but Utsikten are an awful side, but they do score. Certainly gettable at 1.3. Swiss Superliga and Swiss Challenge League. It's far too early in the season to get interested in this, but we've got 2 odds on favourites at home. I'll see members from 1:30 p.m. today. No, 1 o'clock today for the Allsvenskan, but don't expect an avalanche of trades today. To be perfectly honest with you, things get clicking into gear October, November time. You will have 8 or 9 matches under your belts in the major European leagues and their second tiers, Bundesliga's 1, La Liga 2, Serie B, etc. That's when we start really making some coin, like BTC and ETH. So have a great day. I will see members from 1 p.m. onwards, or 12:30 for the Anderlecht Westerlo match, moving on to 1 o'clock, and then into the cup matches. Have a great day. I'll see you a bit later.